and they need us to do this for them.
Most importantly, we're here for women, to support women, women's rights.
My wife is pregnant with a daughter, and it's important to me that women's rights are protected.
This is a march for all who may be oppressed or whose rights may be threatened in any way.
I'm marching for women's rights, also Muslim rights.
I'm marching because I still can, because I still physically can.
For people with disabilities.
I'm marching because I need to stand against the injustice, against the evil. So we need to get together, to work together for social justice.
I'm here for all my fellow Latinos, all my Muslim family, my fellow LGBTQ family.
I'm marching here today in support of all these women that have come out to speak truth to power, to let the president know that this cavalier attitude, that it's okay to talk as he does about women and describe the country in the way he does towards women, towards other people, is unacceptable and will be responded to through resistance.
Honestly, teach my kid that this is how we stand up, and this is how we state our beliefs and raise our voice, and right? This is what we do.
Whether it's the plan to deport 3 million people, or whether it's the privatization of public schools, smashing unions. I'm a high school teacher and a union activist, and I'm really inspired that hundreds of thousands of people are waking up to our need to do this ourselves, because the Democratic Party hasn't fought for us, the two-party system hasn't served us, and it's really going to be grassroots movements from below that are going to have to change this. I think there's something wrong with the system, not just Trump, so that's why I'm out here.
But we're both retired teachers, and we don't like the direction that the new Secretary of Education is going. She supports charter schools, she doesn't support public education, and that's an integral right for every child in the United States of America and for the future. I believe in public education because it's a divisive thing where kids who are poor do not end up getting the same kind of an education, and then when more money goes out of the system that goes to charter schools, there's less of a tax base that goes to public education, and those kids are going to suffer, and we're just going to have a very two-tiered type of education system that's very poor for the future of our country.
I'm marching for my daughter who has a pre-existing condition. She's 2. I'm afraid that her health care could be in jeopardy in the future. I am afraid it's an overgrowth syndrome, so she's bigger than her peers, and a president that, bags on people that don't fit into the beautiful category. It scares me for her.
In the entire world, there's maybe 20 people who can destroy it at the touch of a button. And it's just crazy to think that now John Trump is one of them.
He's a narcissistic personality, and he doesn't belong in the White House.
He's a bully. I mean, he's worse than my kid was when he was 4 years old. He's ignorant and he's powerful. I mean, what could be a more dangerous combination?
Everything that he says, every sign, every quote, everything that's derogatory, that's what spawns it.
I genuinely don't know why the public at large would support someone that's very actively against their own self-interest. I don't know.
I'm 90 years old, and I've been voting since 1952 when I turned 21. You had to be 21 in those days. We're married, so there's nothing really he can do to that, I hope. But it's just too bad for other people that do want to get married.
Anti-critical thinking, anti-science, it's just, I think it's a threat to our democracy, and specifically as it relates to the environment and global warming, the fact that Trump sort of has no interest in actually studying anything. He's all about impulse, gut reaction, and that's not, who we are. That's sort of what the Enlightenment was a resistance to.
They don't hold him to any standard. I have never seen such hypocrisy. These people that that voted for him, that they hold other people to high standards, but he gets a free pass to behave in a way that is so undignified for the office.
I'm kind of hoping this president has some good people surrounding him, and they'll tell him to wise up.
I want our country to be safe for this next generation. I'm concerned about Trump as our president now, that he doesn't support women's rights, that he's not fighting to protect our environment. When he said he was going to protect, he's just putting people, billionaires, people with money, people that are not going to look after the common people into influential positions in government, and I'm concerned about it.
biggest problem I see with the new administration is that the focus is on things that don't matter to most Americans, number one, and number two, that it puts human rights behind corporate interest. And that is not the American way, it's not the human way. People throughout the international community understand how backwards this thinking is.
My biggest fear is that it becomes an administration for the 1%.
There's this sort of global wave of authoritarianism and populism. We are kind of one of the only things in the way of that becoming a tsunami versus it being something that's just sort of a footnote in history.
One of the fears is that our little girls are going to go back to back alley abortions.
The steps that they've taken already to try to shut down what is our legal right in this country. And that includes abortion rights, immigration rights.
We're fearful that the Supreme Court will become so conservative that we'll lose our rights. It will be regression.
The idea of defunding Planned Parenthood is appalling to me.
They think women shouldn't have reproductive choices. That's misogynist to me. If you think I'm too stupid to make decisions about my body, then you're a fascist asshole.
Not to mention the changes in the Affordable Care Act, which will eliminate a lot of care to many more people.
If I lose my health care, I will lose my job. They will not cover me. Before the ACA came in and I was able to buy independent health care, I'm too expensive for companies to cover. I have a PhD in biochemical engineering, but I will not be employed if the ACA is repealed. Access to healthcare is an imperative for a lot of people, and even if you're able-bodied now, 1 in 5 people in America have some type of chronic disability. Even something as random as a car crash could just completely change your life. Healthcare is a human right, and it's something that we should fight for.
My biggest fear about this administration is that human rights go by the wayside and corporations rule everything and the environment gets destroyed.
My concern is that he put somebody in charge of the EPA who wants to destroy the EPA, who's filed lawsuits against the EPA, someone who's basically put there as a sham, who's not really there to protect our environment, who's not looking after our planet, who's not looking after our citizens, someone who's just looking after banks and people with money, and is basically there just to protect the oil and the gas industry and not looking after our planet.
We got to involve unions, right? Because there's a lot of power in the workplace. If you remember in 2006, when we fought against HR 4437 to criminalize the undocumented, we had 1.2 million people in the streets here, and it was also a strike. People didn't go to work that day. And people were like, oh shit, we really need immigrants. And that law was squashed. Interview anybody that's an immigrant. Why are they here? They're here for a better life because there were crappy conditions in their country.
When there's no opportunities in their own home countries, like many of us that are here undocumented have to migrate and have to move to places where there are some jobs available to undocumented people, to people of color, working class people.
I mentor some girls that are DACA kids. They've been here since they were 2 years old. They feel threatened. They feel like they could be deported. Where are they going?
I am legally, and I am standing for those that they don't have documents.
People don't get more human rights because of the soil they were born on. So we have a duty to actually make sure everybody has a right to go where they need to go, to take care of their families.
You hear about Muslim registry, and that just sounds like apartheid, and it sounds very frightening.
We're not out to, harm Americans. We're a part of this society. We're contributing to it. I'm actually a physician, and we're a big part of American identity and American culture. And I hope that they can meet a Muslim and see that we're not all bad people and terrorists.
Growing up under Obama, I just felt really accepted in this country for who I was, and felt like it wasn't so tricky to be Muslim and the daughter of Pakistani immigrants and also American. And then now all of a sudden I feel like those identities are being stripped of me, and like I'm being told that I can't be all those things at once.
Are we going to do something about the Electoral College? Are we going to really go into depth about the political system?
I think it's extremely important that we get rid of
the Electoral College. I have been, because I'm going to be 75, I've been through many movements. I think this is the most critical time in the United States history. This is supposed to be a democracy, and it's not a democracy when you win a popular vote for 3 million, whether you like Hillary Clinton or you don't.
If people want to talk about whining about an election, this is not whining, this is democracy. This is the document that protects human rights. This is what it's designed to protect. And this is America saying we refuse to accept the rhetoric, the policies, all the different things that are being proposed that is antithetical to the existence of the Constitution as a document protecting human rights.
Do I have a solution? I guess everyone who's here that's like-minded to run for office and get involved and actually get out and vote to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
This is what happens when people get distracted. This is why this happened, because people got distracted. We were lulled into complacency. I've been out here since the 70s doing this stuff, marching against the war, marching for reproductive rights. Thing is, you just got to keep coming out.
We do need more people like us, like the common man, to be on Capitol Hill.
Talk to your congressmen, talk to your senators, stay on them, make sure they're voting for the things that you believe in.
Educate yourselves. Look at more than one news source. Talk to people who are different from you. Be critical. I mean, I'm a high school English teacher, and I train my students to be critical readers. It's like, don't believe everything you're told.
Donate to like those nonprofit organizations you hear about, like ACLU, and like CARE is like this Council on American or Islamic Relations that does a lot of legal work protecting minorities. So I think Planned Parenthood, groups that protect women and minorities and immigrants, I think those groups need help. Nonprofits aren't funded, they're nonprofits.
It starts with this little guy. So that's how we change the world, right?
Find social media groups, find other friends, people who are like-minded that can band together in your community, outside of your community.
Just organize.
When you're alone, it's an illusion of separateness and fear. You come together with people that you love, bring joy, bring happiness, fellowship. Don't stay inside, come together.
The more people you meet, the more you understand.
We have to have a dialogue with people that we don't agree with. I mean, that goes for everybody.
Progressive values, I think, should encompass people who feel economically marginalized. And I do think that there's a huge swath of middle America that felt displaced from work.
You're affected. Whether you realize it or not, you're affected in some way.
If you don't speak up now, you might as well surrender your own rights.
We got to keep the passion going. I mean, once everything dies down, we tend to forget the movements, and we got to keep it alive. Whether it's this, Black Lives Matter, whatever it may be, it needs to stay alive.
Getting behind Obama and Obama's efforts to get involved in stopping the way that gerrymandering occurs as a practical solution.
We all are humans. We want the best for each other, and we want to stand against injustice.
I think we need to take the opportunity as communities to have conversations about the kind of America we want to live in. I hope the objective is an America where all these different people can coexist and have their rights respected by government, and have government be a function of people's desire for the protection of human rights, not an obstacle to it.
I've always been proud to be an American, and I want to continue to be proud to be an American, and I think by making sure that the values of our country are upheld, I can continue to be able to say I'm proud to be an American. And I think that at this time it's very important for the citizens to step in and make sure that those values are being held sacred.
If you can walk and you can get yourself dressed, comb your hair, come out, and be with all the people. I hope I'm here next year, too.